I'm Nat.
And I'm Z. Hello, hello.
Hola, everybody.
Uh, ¿Cómo
¿Cómo
estás?
estás? Konnichiwa. Thank you, right? That's not.
Estados Unidos.
Me duele la cabeza. Ay, Dios mío. That is the extent of my international spoken word. Bonjour, bonsoir, and c'est bon.
Bonjour.
There we go. That's all I got.
Yes. So today we had a topic set in place, and we decided not to do that topic and just kind of go off the cuff because this is our last episode for the year. And we're going to take our normal holiday break and where we spend time with family and then planning for the new year. And so we just kind of compiled a list of topics that we're going to dive into, and hope that this turns out great and doesn't spiral into a shit show.
I think we'll be good on that part. But if not, if it does to y'all, don't tell us. Just go with it.
Right.
Just go with it. Okay?
Just go with it.
Thanks.
Just go with it. Just
in
go with
advance.
it. In advance.
Thanks in
Yes.
advance.
So I guess the first topic we said we were going to kind of get into was Dave Chappelle and his stint at SNL. There was a lot of controversy surrounding it initially because for two parts. He bought Black Star with him as his musical guest. And Talib Kweli has a lot of controversy associated with him. We talked about this a while back about him doxing this female and harassing her online to the point I think they either kicked him off Twitter or he just left of his own accord.
On Twitter. We'll get to that.
I think he got kicked off. Yes. But hey, Elon Musk is in charge now, so he could probably get his handle back.
Part.
But, I thought that his monologue was funny. But the next day there were calls for him to be canceled once again because people considered the monologue to be anti-Semitic.
What?
And yes. And I don't believe it was anti-Semitic.
Right.
But in the same breath, am I the person who is supposed to determine what anti-Semitism is? I mean, I don't gatekeep racism, but you can't tell me what is racist and what is not. You can't tell me what's a microaggression and what's not.
Right, when we're on the receiving
as a Black
end.
woman. Right. But he did speak some truth. And so I guess my question is specifically, when one is speaking truth, when does that truth border or cross the line into anti-Semitism, racism, sexism? When does that happen? Because there are a lot of truths. And I don't think that it's being anti-Semitic. Like he said, indirectly that a lot of Jewish people run Hollywood. That is a fact. That is not a stereotype.
Right.
It is a fact.
Yeah.
It is a fact.
It is. Like most white men are in Congress. White men run Congress.
That is a fact. That is a fact. And they are the gatekeepers to a lot of things. And can keep people out of certain
circles
spaces should they choose to, because they hold power in those arenas.
And there's a historical aspect to that as well.
Yes,
I mean, this is generational. This isn't something that, there's constructs put in place for it to be run in a particular manner due to the times it started. Everything started. So there's a legacy there that doesn't necessarily mean, like you said, it's anti-Semitic. It's a legacy of the framework of how the business industry has been set up from the beginning of time.
Right. So I just, you look, you had Harvey Weinstein. You have people like Steven Spielberg, and you have people like, what's that person's name? He ran Disney for a while.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
So you have these constructs in place, and I don't think I don't personally think anything he said was anti-Semitic. And he said, the times have gotten so bad that Kyrie Irving got in trouble because of Kanye.
Right.
Kanye effectively got Kyrie Irving in trouble. And let me say something. I think Kyrie Irving is a wonderful basketball player, but I also think he's an idiot on many levels.
Didn't he think the world is flat too? Oh,
yes.
There we
yes.
go. The context. People context.
Exactly. And then to link to a video, which is deemed to be anti-Semitic, is problematic.
Very.
But don't hold him to this high standard when you're letting Amazon just do whatever. It was on Amazon's platform. So why is Amazon not being held to the same standard?
Aren't they the gatekeeper to post to put on their platform what they choose to sell and in turn get a profit?
Right. But see, they're protected by free speech. So I'm assuming that means that is not something that is afforded to Kyrie. And the hoops that they made this man jump through just to play basketball again, in my opinion, was ridiculous. And who runs the NBA? I'm just saying, who's the commissioner of the NBA?
Well, there's that.
So, I mean,
if you're just stating facts, it's not a generalization or a stereotype. If you look it up, and that's I don't know. There's a direct correlation.
And there is, and I would say there are stereotypes that you can attribute to the Jewish population,
right? Like with us as the Black population,
right? There are stereotypes that come from being Black, right? Mm-hmm. But some of those stereotypes, in a lot of, I'm going to say this and people are going to be upset with me, but some stereotypes are rooted in some truth.
Yeah.
Not a full truth, not a collective
drop of truth,
but a drop of truth, right? And but not all stereotypes. Like, all Black people aren't lazy, right? Do I know some lazy Negroes? Absolutely.
All Black people can't dance, i.e. Oprah.
No, they can't. They cannot.
Not all Black people can play basketball.
No,
not all tall Black people play basketball.
No. And sometimes we do it to our own, right? We'll see a tall Black kid and he can't play basketball, and like, all that height was wasted on you.
Right? Yeah, that part.
I'm just curious as to where that line is.
I think it keeps moving.
And are we just more of a sensitive generation?
I think so.
You look at some of the comedy sketches, some of the TV shows that are out back in the day, you would not be able to get away. You would not be able. The Jeffersons would not exist. No. You could not say hunky on TV. That just was not.
But they're still on TV and watched like all the time, though. Like, that's just it. Like, think about it. Like, it wouldn't be greenlit for today, yet it is on repeat on multiple stations because people watch it.
Yeah.
So, the nostalgia of it all, that whether good, bad, or indifferent, there's people that still aren't that sensitive. Well, it's our parts of our generation are not that sensitive. It just is what it is. And sometimes the shit is funny.
It is funny. I mean, if you look at, there's just a lot. Like, I saw a thread recently about somebody who was watching like Black shows from the 90s. And they had problems with a lot of the shows from the 90s. They had problems with Girlfriends. They had problems with Moesha. They had problems with Martin. And I agreed with a lot, some of it. Like with Moesha, I've said this before. When I said this a few episodes back, when I started rewatching Moesha, them always picking on Kim's weight. I just didn't understand that. Like, they were fat shaming.
They did that with Rerun too.
Yes, they did. Yes. It's like fat shaming is like was a tool to get a response. Right. You know what I mean? Like, or like Girlfriends. I mean, that show is problematic.
I never watched it, so I don't know.
They're just they are trash human beings. If you go back and watch it, they're all trash. Tony's trash, Joan is trash, Lynn is trash, Maya's trash. They're all trash human beings, right? Martin, they were saying like the way that he always, it was like the stereotypical, the light-skinned woman is held up and revered, and the dark-skinned woman is used as a tool to get laughs. Calling her hair nappy and always pointing out her physical attributes as a way to make fun of her.
BB. Is that what he called her, BB?
B to B, yeah. But he was an equal opportunity offender.
He
He offended
did. He
everybody.
did.
Talked about Gina's head.
Right.
I feel like he took the things that people made fun
Growing up.
of and let us make fun of it and laugh to see that it's not that
Serious.
It's not always, it doesn't have to always be a serious. But if you take it into this generation, the Gen Zers,
Right.
they are like, this is toxic behavior, toxic television. And so that's why I'm just curious as to at what point are we just too sensitive?
I think so.
Or is everything offensive now?
I think everything is
And maybe
people are too sensitive. It stems from the participation award thing, and everyone's entitled, and I should get what I want. So I don't want to hear that type of talk. I'm offended, and now I'm trying to I just think people are too sensitive. Honestly, they need to buck up.
Yes. And I feel like because you think something is offensive doesn't make it necessarily offensive to me. And, I think cancel culture, while effective in some areas, I think really got
It's
out of
overreaching.
control.
Cancel culture is overreach.
It is. Like, there are people who still calling for Will Smith to be canceled.
Just let the man be. Just
like, still calling for him, because I saw recently he posted a clip of his new movie.
Oh.
That's on Apple, Emancipation, which is a whole nother story, because I don't really want to hear anymore. I'm over slave movies.
I was about to say, that's a slave movie, isn't it?
How many more ways can you tell me about the atrocities that happened to my people? I don't care.
Can we do stuff on the Harlem Renaissance or something
why can't we celebrate
Tulsa
the
when it was,
aspects?
burgeoning and coming up, or all the other towns, black towns that were doing really well before people drowned them in lakes. But I digress.
Right.
There's some positivity.
Right. Why do we have to always show our pain and trauma? And there were people in the comments like, "Oh, Apple, I'm disappointed in you. Why would you even let him still make a movie?" So he was perfect for 30 years. He made one mistake, and now you want to vilify this man forever?
And then meanwhile, Harvey doing trash stuff.
Woody Allen.
Yes, for years.
Roman Polanski.
Yes. But y'all give them safe harbor, do all these other passes. I'm just saying.
It's a lot. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like I don't think you'll ever be able to fully cancel Dave Chappelle, because yes, he says some things that people don't agree with, but there's a lot of truth to it. Like, there's a lot of truth to how Black people operate in this world that isn't always on the up and up. Yes, there are times where the LGBTQIA community bullies people. But then if you say something to them, it's an outrage. Right. But they will call you to carpet for the smallest thing. Yes.
I've had members in my community that are of the LGBTQI community, and they're like, yeah, we kind of overreach sometimes. They've admittedly, they're like, yeah, we kind of bucked a little too much.
Black people overreach. Yeah. Black people overreach sometimes. We do. There are times when we do. Yeah. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of get that out there. Then the second thing I was thinking of is, that Shaquilla Robinson.
My goodness.
So if many of you haven't heard, but you probably have, this young lady, early 20s, goes on a trip to Cabo. Yep. I think it was Cabo.
Somewhere
with a group of friends, and never returns. These friends, air quotes, say that she died of alcohol poisoning, left her body, and just came back.
That is insane.
They do an autopsy in Mexico, and they were like, nah, she didn't even have alcohol poisoning in her system. She was killed. Yeah. She has
a cracked spine.
With a cracked spine, all this stuff.
Broken neck.
And the story is just now getting traction when this story, this happened in October.
Oh, really? I've had a recent.
Yeah. And I'm hearing that she only really knew one person on that trip. I don't know. There's conflicting stories about who she knew, how she winds up getting there. Getting there meaning how this trip happened for
Right.
her. We talked about your tribe. We've talked about your tribe
Yeah,
many of
buddy.
times. We've had conversations. I've had conversations where I hear people say, I don't have any female friends because females, da, 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 da. And I always say I feel sorry for it. I feel like it's more this generation, millennials
Yeah.
and Gen Z. They don't know how to make
They do
girlfriends
not.
because everything is on social media.
Yes. Everything is
We have
perception based for friendship.
Yes, everything is perception based. So you've never really functioned in true spaces with these people. Where I feel like boomers, Gen Xers, maybe early like millennials, like the tail end of Gen X into the millennials. I think we had to form. We were forced to form genuine friendships with people. We didn't have social media.
Right.
You had to interact physically with people on a consistent basis in order for these friendships to thrive.
Right. I went to a Friendsgiving last night, and one of the ladies that I was talking to, we were looking at the room, and all of the young people and some adults were all sitting next to each other, but on their phone. And we were talking, we're like, when we were their age at a Thanksgiving or a family affair, we didn't have a phone. So we had to sit there and make friends with the people that we just came with because our parents may have dragged us to this event. And now we made friends with the person that is our same age. So then you had to figure out how to engage and then how to maintain a conversation. And then usually by the end of that night, you had some sort of conversation where like, oh, can we be friends or can I have a sleepover or something that enabled there was a framework that the kids had developed some sort of relationship because they sat and were able to talk to each other and not be on social media trying to connect with everybody except for the person that's right next to them.
Right. And it's sad because I feel like this is what happens. These situations are what occur because of the fact that these children, young people, do not know how to form genuine relationships. They weren't provided with the discernment to be able to weed out people who are no good for you. You can't weed out people on social media. You can't weed out people whose whole thing is to present this picture of perfection for people who don't give a shit really about
at all.
You.
Just the likes. They do it for the likes.
They do it for the likes. We have been friends since we were 17, 18 years old. We are 45, 46 years old. We have been friends since we have been 17, 18 years old. I will go anywhere with you, and I do not fear for my safety in terms of you harming me. And I would hope you wouldn't fear for your safety of me harming you. That has never happened. We have never gone on a trip and anyone has threatened to fight, hit, maim, destroy. Never. I have never heard of a thing. And this is commonplace. I've heard multiple stories and seen multiple Twitter threads of how women feel like they cannot go on trips with other females because they don't come back friends. How is that possible? It is possible because you weren't friends before you left.
Yes. So true. I've had situations with people that I know that are of that generation will have gone out to brunches and stuff, and people get a little bit too little tipsy, and then they've been left where they are. And they don't get a ride home. They don't they're not taking, and I've had to have conversations with said people, like, how do you know these people? And how long have you, because you're calling them friends, and I'm trying to understand, how are they your friends and how long have you known them? Only to find out they met them on social media in a group where there was no cultivation of a relationship at all.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. People find this funny when we talk about it now, but there's a method to the madness that had ensued. When I lived in New York and you all came to visit me and y'all were like 10 deep. It was like 10 of us.
We had our own little parade.
10 deep. Yes. I made everybody get a buddy.
Yay, buddy.
I said, have a buddy. This is your buddy. This is your buddy. And it was funny, but there was a purpose to it because you should know where your buddy is at all times. because it's more safety in numbers. I don't understand this new culture or this new dynamic. Like, how do you go on trips with people that you don't trust?
Out of the country.
Now, out of a country. Now, look, that's not to say that in our friend, I mean, we've been friends, over 25 years. I've known you longer than I haven't known.
Right,
at this
exactly.
point, right? So how is it that there's never been, we may have disagreements, we may have had, just
life,
right? Things have happened, right? But we've never been disrespectful to one another, cursing each other out, calling each other out of our names. That has never happened.
Nowadays,
never happened.
They're like, B did it, beep, beep, and D, and you can know, suck a boop, boop. And I'm like, wow, how do y'all talk to each other?
And here's the thing. That girl who got beat, Shanquilla, I'm not going to say that girl, Shanquilla Robinson, let's say her name consistently. Yeah. She got beat, did not fight back. From what I understand, she was asleep and they did this to her. We only have a snippet of this video. I'm upset at the person who beat her, but you know who I'm more upset at? The person who videotaped
and just
it.
How
do you sit there and you know her because you're calling her Quilla. You know her because you're calling her Quilla. I'm not calling people by their nicknames if I'm not close to them.
Thank you.
I have several nicknames, and depending on what you call me, I can tell you how close we are.
Thank you.
If you call me Reef, we've been in the trenches together. If you call me Reefa, we have been in the trenches together. Okay?
Facts.
If you call me Czar, that means I've known you probably since I was like knee-high to a grasshopper. Right?
Yep.
If you call me Z, I just met you. And some people who call me Z, I'm cool with. And some people who call me Z, I don't really fuck with you. I just tell you to call me that because I don't... You know?
That's like when people call me Nat. And not everybody call me Nat off the break. I'm like, I'm sorry, my name is Natalie.
Natalie.
Only my close people call me Nat.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, for some, and this is my gauge. If that person's calling you Quilla, he knows you.
Yep.
And he sat there and watched you get beat and then say, fight back?
Right.
No. How about you put down the phone and help me?
So that was a man
that
was recording?
Yes. Oh, yes. And here's the effed up part about it too. So there's another friend that comes that was late. I don't know if he missed his flight or whatever. He comes the next day. He finds her in the bathroom sitting on the toilet. They said, "Oh, she's sick. She's died from she got alcohol poisoning." So y'all mean to tell me y'all just left her like this? And he said he saw her knotted up, but he assumed that it probably was from her falling or something for being so drunk. No, she was knotted up because they beat her and left her on a...
Oh my...
I hope her family gets everything. And here's the thing. Legally, I don't know what the U.S. can do to them in this country because it did not happen in this country. However, I fully hope Mexico asks for those assholes to be extradited and they go back to Mexico and face the full extent of Mexican law.
And Mexican jail ain't like American jail. Y'all ever seen Locked Up Abroad? That shit is not a joke.
No.
That is no joke.
Not. And I hope the FBI... here's the thing. Now the FBI done got involved, so your asses ain't going nowhere. When the feds get involved, let me tell you a little something. State, you got good chances with the state.
You got the FBI.
When the feds come, let me tell you, when the feds come, it is over. You going to jail.
You going to jail now. They might put you up under the jail. Rightfully so.
When the feds get involved, and I'm pretty sure they had a second autopsy when she got
I'm
here.
sure.
To confirm,
but you don't. But you leave the. I can't. And her mama knows her child because she just talked to her right before.
That's sad, man.
So y'all ladies, just
not even ladies. Dudes. Those of you who have young children, young adult women who are trying to navigate what we call life, please teach them some discernment about who. Let me tell you, when my mama said that's not your friend. Yeah, back then I didn't understand it, and I'm like, "Oh, she just hating." No, they were not my friends.
But that's a spirit of discernment that this generation does not have. That our parents were like, "That ain't your friend," and they picked up on it. But nowadays, there's no space for people to
No.
develop that space, that spirit of discernment, because they're too worried about the likes.
Yep.
I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna compromise my whole moral statutes so I can get a like, and regardless
It's
of what
sad,
my
man.
sixth sense or intuitive nature may say.
It's sad. It makes me so sad because she had.
Sickening.
I don't know her or her family personally, but everything that they've said about this young lady seemed to be that she had a lot going for her, and there's just another life snuffed out over some bullshit. Because whatever y'all was fighting over wasn't that
Right.
serious.
And then think about it, how angry they are. Like that is that not even like a crime of passion per se, but that is like a visceral type of beating that shows you that these folks have some other anger issues that they could not
Mm-hmm.
resolve, that they thought that the only way to resolve it was through the beating. Like when what was that video? Shit, Sharkeisha, no, whatever.
Oh yeah,
Sharkeisha, no, but like think about it. Like that was the type of visceral beating. Unfortunately, that's the go-to. People are quick
Yeah.
to throw hands. Oh, we about to catch these hands, catch these hands. And I mean, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
joke, but people have taken it to another level.
Absolutely. So, but I'm gonna say this, and this is actually a good transition part for our next
Mm-hmm.
topic. It actually, which always is the case, Black Twitter came through in the clutch, and Black Twitter is the real reason why this has gotten
Elevated.
so much
Mm-hmm.
attention and elevated. This is the reason because you know we Twitter. Okay, let's just talk about Twitter collectively, right? And this is also something. This is why the last episode we talked about jealousy and envy.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens
Yes.
when people hold jealousy and envy in
And
their
this is how it
hearts
manifests.
and manifests itself in these vicious, disgusting,
And
despicable
it's
ways.
tied to social media. It's a
All
drug.
tied to
It's
social media.
addictive. People don't realize
It is.
it's truly a drug for some folks.
It is. So Black Twitter has been the catalyst for a lot of our awareness and things. I believe Twitter was how we found out. Twitter was how we found about Trayvon Martin.
Wow.
Twitter is where, let me rephrase, Black
Right.
Twitter is how we were aware of Trayvon Martin. Because remember, when it started to become national news, that shit had happened.
A while past. Yeah.
It had passed. So Twitter has become a vehicle for a lot of us getting information about situations, events, news that we just wouldn't be able to get on other platforms.
Which is a whole other topic.
Which is a whole. So with that being said, Elon Musk got his dirty ass up, got his money together, went and bought Twitter.
Like 44 billion.
It has been it has been a shit show since.
And
right?
Talk about the kitchen sink. That's all you have left in there, sir, now.
Basically, this man, and let's be clear, people are saying, not me. People are saying that he's doing this on purpose.
Yeah, I heard that.
Right? People are saying that he is doing this on purpose. I do not.
Why would you implode your company on purpose?
I don't believe he's that smart. I don't.
I don't know if he's that strategic to do it, to implode it where you just have no one else running yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
I don't believe that he's that smart. I think that he came in thinking, like a lot of white men do, that they are the smartest person in the room because they are rich. And because of that, he thought he could come in there and tell these people how it was going to be, what was going to happen. Right. And it all blew up in his face.
How do you get rid of the people that know how the company runs, down to the folks that are the gatekeepers to safety, access? You don't do that, sir. That's not your wheelhouse. So, and then you're expecting them to work harder because you've cut people that actually know what they're doing?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't. He said, for what I've seen, he basically he was like, hey, everybody, this is what's going to be. If you just ride with me, this is going to be Twitter 2.0, and it's going to be awesome, right? And so he was like, but you just got to commit. You're going to have longer hours, and you're going to have to work harder than you ever had to work before. But if you just stick with me, we're going to make this
Right.
great. And during that phone call, people dropped out. Like,
They're like,
deuces,
"Dude, I'm good.
and quit.
I'm good."
And quit. And
Yeah.
quit.
Thousands,
Like, oh,
thousands of people quit.
yeah. A lot of people's like, nah, run me my 3-month severance. That's what I want. Run me my 3-month severance.
Yep.
Because what I'm not going to do is this with
Yeah.
you.
It's like it's blowing me how you handled. And then I guess he made a post about how do you secure a small fortune or a large fortune. I can't even remember the order it was, but have a large fortune first, because now he's lost so much money behind all of this.
He's lost a lot of money. And so here's the other thing, right? Of course, during this period of time, and this is how stupid he is. Of course, during this period of time, you are going to have higher numbers of traffic. He thinks that somehow that this is a good
Right.
thing. The higher number of traffic is because people are literally waiting for this to implode, and they want to be
When
there
it
when
happens.
it happens.
Right.
Black Twitter has been holding a funeral service
Yo,
since he fired everybody. And since there were people that came out and say, I don't know, because here's the thing, the people who run the servers, I'm not an IT geek or an IT person. So I don't know how this all works. I do work in project management, so I do understand that you have to have people in place to keep the system
Correct.
from breaking. And anytime that there's an update, there is a possibility that something will
Right.
break. So you have to have people consistently on it to keep things from happening. Apparently there's nobody manning this. So at any given moment,
Yeah.
if something happens, the whole system could
Pretty
crash.
much.
So Black Twitter, because this
They
is what
came
we
through.
do, we asking who did the body.
They were like, "Oh, I just
who's
talked to him last
singing?"
night." What you mean he gone? What do you mean Twitter's gone? Like,
Yes.
the other memes where there was one guy just looking at a server by himself. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yes, yes, I saw that one. This man has effectively just trashed, and they had opened Twitter Africa, right? Was it in Ghana? I don't remember where, in what country it was. I believe it was Ghana. They had a Twitter Africa office. That was the first office he shut.
Wow.
They just opened that. I think they just opened that this year.
I think some people forget where Mr. Musk comes from and where his ideologies are based. He's from South Africa, where he was a strong apartheid supporter. And he's part of that echelon elitist part of the country that was part of keeping certain populations that did not look like them or spoke Afrikaans or what have you. People, I don't think because of the Tesla surgence and all of that and electric stuff, people don't really understand or know the origins of this individual's thought process and the roots of what has propelled him to this point. Yeah.
I mean, when you look at some of the decisions he's made, right? You could tell he's not smart. He's Trump, right? He's not smart. He doesn't really think. He has no real true analytical skills, no business acumen. He is just a white man who feels that I have money, so I should be able to do whatever I want. The case in point, the group that needed to do the update for the blue checks, he fired them all. And then when he realized he couldn't do it, he had to rehire. He wanted to rehire them.
That's wild.
I forgot, it was like this one woman that he begged not to quit. She was going to leave. He begged her not to quit, only to fire her.
What?
Later on. Yes. He then did a poll on Twitter asking if they should reinstate Donald Trump.
Oh, Lord.
And they did. So now he's reinstated. He does this during a time where we really need the information because of it was during the election.
Yep.
So we really needed to have a forum where we could really get the word out about some of the things that are happening in different parts of the country in terms of voter suppression.
Yep.
And this is what happens when narcissism is is allowed to run rampant.
Yeah.
Because this man really thought he was the smartest man in the room just because he had money.
Yeah. I mean, you can make that money and that's great and you have that acumen in that regard. But beyond that, there's an application and implementation aspect that being the smartest person in the room is a detriment. But then for you to be a smart leader, then you realize, you know what, that's not my lane. Let me hire somebody to handle it. That's being a smart and informed leader because you know where your shortcomings are.
Yeah.
But ego.
It's always ego. And, you know, it's funny because a lot of people, once Trump got kicked off, right, they went to some new app,
new platform, Truth
Life or
something like that.
Truth, whatever.
That's in quotes,
clearly,
the truth part.
Yes. And clearly that didn't work because now, if that was such a successful platform, then he would have been able to come back he wouldn't have come back to Twitter. He would have kept the middle finger up.
Right. It was doing abysmal.
Right. And Elon, you know, Elon Musk purports himself to be some legal expert too, because he wants to tell you he's the gatekeeper of what freedom of speech is, and he doesn't know because you cannot reinstate somebody who incited
that part
treason in this country. Ooh. What do you mean? This man incited the riots on January 6th.
That part, girl. It's
so I'm just
even this critical analysis that we're giving. There's parts of this generation that haven't even realized or have the capacity to have this discussion.
No,
which goes back to the comprehension point that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Well,
or lack of.
These children lack comprehension. These children can't even read cursive.
Oh,
you want to keep something from these kids? Write it in cursive because they can't.
They stopped teaching it.
Yep,
it's true. If you want to hide something, put it in a book and put it in cursive. Write it in cursive in a book, and I guarantee they ain't gonna find it.
They won't. So let me go to Ticketmaster.
They wildin'.
Ticketmaster. I'm gonna say this. I don't like Taylor Swift. I've never liked Taylor Swift. I have made that very clear, or probably on this podcast multiple times. I've made it clear in my life. I don't like Taylor Swift. And my dislike of Taylor Swift is a multitude. I feel like she's fake. I feel like she's fake because how do you come out as a country artist with a country twang and then go straight to pop? So you use country as a platform, became the country darling. And I
totally forgot that's where she started.
Yes. And them old school country people told us about her. They said, no, ma'am. No, sir. She's not real country. She's just using
She's not Carrie Underwood country.
And then she did. No. And then what did she do? She hopped her happy ass right over to pop. And all she does is make songs. All she makes songs about her relationships. Yeah. That's it. She gets into a relationship and then she makes a song about it. She gets into another relationship and she makes a song about it. She's from Allentown.
Is she really?
She's not country. Yeah.
She's from my hometown?
She's from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
What school she go to? I'm going to go look that up. That's how much I pay attention to Taylor, because I don't. I'm going to go look her up.
So I bring her up because, of course, we've been talking about Ticketmaster forever. But because all of a sudden the Taylor Swifties couldn't get their tickets, now Ticketmaster got it. Now the Justice Department has decided to look into Ticketmaster. Bitch, we've been talking about Ticketmaster forever. Why ain't y'all do that for Adele? There have been plenty of artists who have been complaining about Ticketmaster. And now because Taylor Swift, you couldn't get Taylor Swift tickets, now it's an atrocity. Let me tell you, the only thing I like about this situation is that they better get this shit fixed before Beyonce going. So I tell you that much.
I think Beyonce herself may step in for that because they're gonna make way more money off Beyonce than they will off of Twitter. A
bitch better get this in check before Beyonce tickets go on sale. You hear me? Let me tell you, Ticketmaster was allowing people to sell tickets to Taylor Swift's concert for $94,000.
Shut
what world do? Yes, $94,000. And so they did a pre-sale, and most of the people, let's be clear, most of the people that are going to go to these concerts, right, are people who are working class citizens. They don't have a lot of money. So when they are able to go to a concert, this is money that they have put aside, set aside, found a way to get, right? The overwhelming majority. There are some people who are comfortable and can buy these tickets. But let's be clear. These are people who don't have $500 to just spare, $1,000 to just
at all.
spare.
You already buy her music.
Right. So Ticketmaster is on some bullshit because I don't know the last time you've gone to a concert, but the last 2 concerts I've gone to that I've had to purchase tickets through Ticketmaster, I've had to pay a whole nother ticket price in fees.
Oh. What?
And
so there's no one regulating that because they're the only game in town.
No, right. So if I buy tickets for $150, if say the tickets I want, each ticket is $150, $175, then you would think, then let's say $150, then you would think, okay, I'm only coming out of my pocket $300. By the time they do taxes and all that fees and stuff, you at $450. And I'm not
That's
lying.
insane.
You are at about $450 for 2 tickets that were $150.
What?
A piece. Yes. The Ticketmaster has gotten out of control because they're a monopoly.
Wow.
And then they allow people, it's just like sneakers. I don't know. My husband was telling me this. When there's sneakers that come out like Jordans, the bots get them first. And then the bots buy them all up. So the people who really want them can't buy them. The bots will buy them up, and then they'll resell them. They mark it up. The same with the PlayStation 5. You know why, like, PlayStation 5s have been on the market for a while now. I mean, yes, there's an issue with manufacturing because of the chips. But what happens is when they do go on sale, and they go on the sale for the price that they were originally set to go on sale for. So there's $4.99 for the disc version, or no, I think it's $4.99 for the disc version, $3.99 for the digital version.
And then the different colors versus the black or the white ones, but black ones are more expensive.
I don't know. I just know that the price that you go online for now, people buy them and then mark them up $200. You just go to a resale right now. Go see if you could buy Taylor Swift tickets. I'm telling you, these tickets are astronomical. And I'm telling,
who's buying these
before this summer? Bots, resellers.
No, the $94,000. Who's getting the end?
Nobody's going to buy those tickets.
Oh my goodness.
And what's going to happen is they have them out for $94,000. The closer it gets to the show, they're going to drop the price, and they're going to put it at a price that they still make a profit, but it's going to be above what the ticket prices actually were. And then somebody's going to buy them. I'm telling you, this is what they do. Resellers, they need to go after. Ticketmaster should not allow resellers. You should not be able to resell a ticket.
Agreed.
And if you do, you have to go through Ticketmaster.
So it's like high-end scalping?
Yes, that's basically what it is. Yeah. You should have to go through Ticketmaster to resell.
That's insane.
Because the fact that I can resell it on any site for whatever price is ridiculous.
That's insane.
So I'm hoping that they get this, because Rihanna going on tour this summer.
Oh yeah.
Beyonce going on tour this summer. You not hitting me over. I have my limits for when I'm paying for Beyonce tickets, and bitch, I wish Ticketmaster
I need to
would
communicate that to my daughter, because she will come back and be like, "Hey, you better go find yourself another extra job if you gonna waste your money all day."
Look, I got my limit. I ain't gonna say what it is because I don't need nobody price shooting me. But I know when I'm gonna pay for my Beyonce tickets, okay? And I ain't going over that limit. But that's my business.
That's your business.
I already know, okay?
That's crazy.
So, but Ticketmaster should be ashamed of itself. And Biden did talk about it, but it hasn't been on the forefront. Like, it's not been a major issue, but it better be an issue now. Because I promise you, y'all better make it an issue like them student loans. Because if I got if y'all not gonna give me my $20,000, then bitch, you best to give me Ticketmaster. Come on.
Because I won't be able to buy it because I still gotta pay these loans back.
Right. If I can't get my student loan forgiveness, bitch, you best to give me my Ticketmaster.
That's right.
I mean, these people were waiting in the queue for the pre-sale for like 8 hours. not 6 hours, something crazy like
What?
that, and still not getting tickets.
What?
I've had to do pre-sale queue. I did that for Adele and I did that for Coldplay.
Right.
No, Tisha did that for Coldplay, guys. For the pre-sale. And that pre-sale shit is bullshit too. You know why? Because if I can't get, let's say I don't have, like, you know, the different credit cards offer the pre-sale.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Chase, Citibank, Capital
Yeah.
One. All you got to do is go to Reddit, and Reddit will give you, somebody who has the pre-sale code is going to give it to you.
Right. That's insane. That's insane. That it's just so. Oh my goodness. They take advantage of people already on so many levels.
Ticketmaster is the devil. And I'm hoping that at some point they do something about it, because this is ridiculous. And like, even with Live Nation goes through Ticketmaster. So even though you're buying tickets on Live Nation, you sometimes still have to go through Ticketmaster. Now, let me say this. I like it, and a lot of y'all ain't gonna remember this. Why can't I just go to wherever? Why can't we just buy it from the arena? Y'all remember that? Way back in the day, when the tickets went on sale, you just got it from wherever the arena was. So if it's at the Wachovia Center,
that's where you buy
I go on Wachovia Center site, I'm getting my tickets. If it's at, you know, FedEx Field, I'm going to FedEx Field's website. But I feel like they've decided that they need to outsource all of this because they don't want to do it in-house anymore. And Ticketmaster is making money hand over fist. Because the fees should not be more than
the fees are insane. That is ridiculous, at the fact that you're paying for 4 tickets if you buy 2.
Yeah. It's 3 tickets for the price of 2. It might be sometimes 4, and think about it. If you're not buying like 100, like I personally, my tickets are going to, depending on where I'm going, they're going to be anywhere between $175 to, I'll say, upwards to $300 because of where I want to sit. Right. I don't want to be all the way up in the nosebleeds, but I don't need to. I'm 45. I don't need to be on the floor. I did that, right?
You don't need to be climbing them stairs either. I
need to sit down. Right. I want to sit down when I want
Thank
to.
you.
And stand up when I want
I can
to,
see.
Right?
No mosh pit type of extraness possibility happening.
Exactly. So I need Ticketmaster to figure. So if I'm saying $175 to $300 and something, why am I paying almost $1,000 for 2 tickets?
That's insane. Oh my goodness.
And let me tell you, and this is more recent. This is within the last 5 years that this has really become a problem, because I remember when I went to go see Beyonce, I went to see her in Philly. I saw her at the Lincoln Field, and I paid $300 for the tickets, and then maybe with taxes and fees, it may have been like $350.
That's it.
And I remember, because I had 2 tickets. I didn't even know who I was going with, but a bitch knew she was going to see Beyonce, and then I wound up being able to take Tisha with me. I didn't know who I was going with. I was like, look, bitch is buying 2 tickets. I'm either going by myself or somebody coming with me.
That's how it was legit in Texas.
That's what I'm saying. So, I just hope they figure it out. And then, you know, lastly, these award ceremonies.
Y'all know how Zarifa feel about these award things.
We talk about this all the time. I love let me say this. I love the pomp and circumstances that surround the award ceremonies, more so on the movie side of things than the music side of things. So I love the pomp and circumstances that surround the Golden Globes, the Oscars, you know, the SAGs. But I would say over the last few years, my taste, you know, I've gotten bitter taste in my mouth because of these award ceremonies. They don't hold space. They're not spaces that are friendly to Black creatives at all. And when they are, it's kind of exploitive.
Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, my one Black friend.
Yes. And so recently, the American Music Awards, I think that they were going to do, and I don't know if they're still going to do it, it comes on tonight, they were going to do a tribute to Michael Jackson, because it's like 40 years since Thriller, or it's 40 years since one of his albums. 40, right? From Thriller, right? And Chris Brown was going to perform, I'm assuming, in the tribute, or he was going to be the tribute.
Right.
Performer.
Because he dances like him.
Right. And regardless of how you feel about Chris Brown's antics off of the stage, when we talk just about who he is as an artist, he's a good artist.
Yeah.
I don't think that he is Michael Jackson level. I don't think he'll ever get to Michael Jackson level. I don't think there are people, and I'm going to say this. Why do we always this black artists? Why do we always have to say this person is this person? You don't do that with. You don't hear people saying he's the next Paul McCartney.
Right. There's a commercial out here that says about that. You're the next you. You're not the next.
Yeah.
Whatever. Someone was like, "Oh, you could be the next Tom Brady." No, how about you go be the next you?
Right. We don't. Why do we need to always use like diminish somebody? Like, why do we have to say, this black person can't be that great because somebody else is greater? Like, just let them be. There's never going. Let me tell you, ain't never going to be another Whitney. Stop it. Ain't never going to be another Michael. Stop it. Ain't never going to be another Quincy Jones. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? These people are icons, and you're not going to touch them. There's never going to be another Prince. Stop it. It's just not going to happen.
Different time.
Right?
Different struggle.
Different. But they didn't say why they canceled his performance, so he's not performing anymore. My belief is that with all of these hip hop killings, violence that have been transpiring over the last few years, I feel like they probably are attributing some of that to Chris Brown, in the sense that it's like Chris Brown is not, and what I mean attributing it to him is like Chris Brown is not Usher, in the sense that Usher ain't rolling around with Crips and Bloods and that holding on to that
the elements,
that type of lifestyle, that element. That's what it is. Chris Brown has a certain element that is around him, which causes him to consistently be in the news for things that he shouldn't be in the news for, right? After that shit happened with Rihanna, whoever was on his team, whoever really had him, failed him. Because after this shit with Rihanna, he should have just never been in the news for anything. Right. So,
and then he had his own little personal things that he was going through that showed up in the public eye, which is unfortunate because he's having to live out whatever crises he's having, and that's what he's being judged on to a point.
Right.
So, and then that puts him in so many different lights.
Yes. But I will say that I want us to stop thinking that these award shows are really for us and that they really celebrate us. And I wish that we would put more into the award shows that do. They're not showing up at the Soul Train Awards or the BET Awards, but I also wish the Soul Train and BET Awards put a little bit more money in the production value and in the way that they handle these shows. And case in point, I do not like Nicki Minaj. Like, I've said a lot of people I do not like. I've said this multiple times. I do not like Nicki Minaj at all. I don't. And the reason why I don't is because I feel like she's a bully. And I'm a Lil' Kim fan through and through. And she's basically a carbon copy of Lil' Kim, but tries to act like she's not. Like, who was wearing the color wigs?
Lil' Kim.
Who was out here saying Barbie first, that they was Barbie?
And I brought all sequin. Just saying.
Yes. So, but with that being said, I feel like her snub at the Grammys is definitely an indication that it's not based on your talent, but based on whether or not you told the line and do the tap dance that I want you to do.
Because she's accomplished.
And yes,
she's very accomplished, and she should. You still put in work. You should get your just due.
Yeah, like I love Cardi. I love Megan Thee Stallion. The fact that they have Grammys before Nicki Minaj.
That's wild, right?
Kind of wild. It's kind of wild to me. Glorilla, that chick that sings that song FNF.
Oh.
She sound like
yeah.
Her, she's got nominated for a Grammy.
Wow.
Yeah, she got nominated for a Grammy.
Did she just been on the scene? Did she just
I like Lotto. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Lotto. I love her energy. But she's also nominated before Nicki Minaj. Really? And I'm pretty sure she's going to win. I have a feeling that she's going to win a Grammy this year.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just saying, like, stop holding. I mean, Nas has been in this industry
forever.
30 years.
Forever.
And he's just now getting.
And he's an artiste. He's a lyricist. He's just, there's so much stuff behind what he does, and you're just getting acknowledged.
Yeah, just getting acknowledged, and that's a shame. And then here's so speaking of Nas, so there's also this other conversation about what makes you relevant. Because 21 Savage said that Nas isn't relevant, but then named all the reasons why he is relevant. That he's still in the game 30
And
years
how old is
later,
21
and that he
Savage
still
now?
has a consistent, I don't know,
Yeah.
has a consistent fan base. Let me say something. There are these are facts. There are people who are relevant because of the role that they played in hip hop culture in history, right? So like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and Melly Mel and KRS
Yeah.
One, and those people are relevant, Rakim, because of the architecture of hip
Right.
hop. And then there are people who are relevant because they are still in the game
Right.
30 years later,
Still making
putting out
relevance.
albums. 40 years later, still putting out albums, still putting out records.
Has that fan base.
Jay-Z and Nas, you can never say are irrelevant. Right. Regardless of what you think about them. Jay-Z can put out an album tomorrow and it's going to outsell many of these rappers. And his concerts are going to be
epic.
Full.
Yeah.
They're going to be sold out. Jay-Z could put a concert out tomorrow. That thing will be sold out tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? So let's give respect where respect is due, right? In the same breath, your relevance isn't based on how many awards that you've accumulated, right? Because there are a lot of people who have gotten an award and they ain't heard from them since.
Preach on that part. Yeah. Haven't gotten an award since. Or you haven't heard from them since, or what they've put out is just in response to their contractual obligation. So they put something out and it's not quality.
Mm-hmm.
But, yet again, it's the microwave generation of mumble rappers that
I feel like we can never say, this generation can never say that the generation before us, their music sucked, it was terrible. Oh, what are you listening to? This hippity hop. You can't say that. And even the generation before us can't really say that about our generation, because there are songs and artists that the generation before us will listen to. There are songs and artists that baby boomers listen to. They'll listen to Usher. They be out there listening to New Edition. They be out there listening to Jasmine Sullivan and the Lettuce Seas and the Maxwells. They listen to them. I don't listen to none of these. There's a very few of these new people. I
can't keep up with who's who, and I can't understand them. And they don't talk. The lyrics are horrible.
They are. I mean, and when I say very few, I listen to J. Cole. I listen to
like J. Cole.
Kendrick. But they're special,
right. They spit a whole different type of lyrics. They're it's just
They're different.
Different.
I listen to some of Summer Walker stuff, but it all sounds the same. I ain't really checking for her too much. You know what I'm saying? Ari Lennox, I like her, but there's a soulness to her that reminds me of the old R&B. You feel what I'm saying? There's certain other people like Lucky Day. I like him because his voice, like some of the stuff he's singing about, I'm like, I can't now. I don't want to hear that shit. but you feel what I'm saying? But there's very few and far between. There are a lot of artists that the boomers are listening to that we listen to. Mary J. Blige. They go and listen to some Mary J. Blige. They gonna listen to some Faith Evans.
That's a struggle love. I'm not condoning struggle love, but they speak about it and sing about it, which is relevant to some of the boomers because of the constructs that they had to stay in their situation at that time. So it resonates with them.
So I say all that to say is that this generation of music is trash, and there's nothing you can say that's going to convince me otherwise. There's nothing. I have ears. I have ears. I have history on my side. You're trash.
They couldn't measure up, but think about it. Like, if you're gonna have an old school party, there's always gonna be a '90s party, right? And no matter what time of year or what have you, people are gonna have a throwback Thursday, throwback Tuesday, and have a '90s party or something. You are not. I don't foresee anyone having a party 10 years from now, 5 years from now, for whatever year we're in.
Well, they don't make music you can dance to.
At all.
They make music for you to
you can twerk, but that's not dancing really. That's just standing there, but that's not. Yeah. It's a sad situation.
Well, and then to close us out on that, I will say, even though with the trash that we have out here in the world today, there's always there's always a bright
Yes,
spot,
agreed.
and that bright spot has been for me Black
Yeah, I
Panther.
saw it
I'm not
yesterday.
gonna go into any spoil. Oof, I cried the
Ooh,
cries.
I was in there
Okay,
like,
yeah, I cried the tears. I did. I cried
yeah,
the tears.
they did a well,
I
good
will
job.
say Ryan Coogler is
Yes,
masterful, and this brother is young. He ain't even 30. He's not even 40 yet. He's still in his 30s.
yes,
This man has 2 huge movies under his belt. I
huge.
mean, I first heard about him. I mean, like most of us, with Fruitvale
Uh-huh.
Station. I akin his relationship with Michael B. Jordan to the one with Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
he's always going to. I don't care what
Can we
movie.
just
It seems
take a
like Michael B.
pause
Jordan
and
gonna
think
be in it.
about talk about how Michael B. Jordan looked at the end of the film with the longer locks? I'm just saying,
Oh yes.
I like that personally. I was like, oh wow. Huh. I thought it was very
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. That is. Let me say, Michael B. Jordan. As long as Ryan Coogler is a director and got a job, Michael B. Jordan got to work. 'Cause I
Yes.
think they're doing their next movie is a movie about that Atlanta teacher who like I think it was a black teacher that fudged them scores or grades to get their students. It was in Atlanta. It was like a long
Right.
time ago. But
Yeah.
anyway, I just want to say that. Woof, I mean, that was. I would say that movie, when you dissect it, really talks about the struggle of Black and brown
On
people,
multiple
and how
levels.
we're pitted on multiple levels, and how we are pitted against each other, but we have
Oof.
so many things that we probably could come together on. And I just want to say, like, when we're talking about award ceremonies and things like that, like, Black Panther just gave me like the chills, both 1 and 2, because it like really shows us as not being a monolith.
Yep.
It shows us as being the regal specimen that we are. I mean, this movie put Black women in a whole
Man, how
new
Angela
light.
handled that opening scene with
I'm just gonna say don't because spoilers, because some
Yes.
people ain't even heard it. But I'll say there are I feel like the theme, one of the themes is like Black women are called upon to consistently be strong through our grief, through our hurt,
Preach on
through our
that.
pain. We are tasked to carry on when our brothers and fathers and husbands have long gone,
Mhm.
and the strength that we have to
And
uphold,
maintain.
even in the darkest of hours is absolutely, it is.
And it's the
remarkable.
expectation though. And it's
Yeah.
it's unfortunately it's like to our detriment. It's to our and we've talked
It
about this
is.
before, but it truly is to our detriment because the whole strong Black woman myth is killing us on multiple levels. It's killing our soul, our
multiple levels.
psyche, just for how we relate. And maybe, speaking to the point of how some kids have been raised now in this generation, the fact that there's a strong Black woman myth, because a lot of Black women have had to take on all of that, it has taken them away from certain things that they may have been able to instill in their children so that they would be better equipped to handle certain things because they're off trying to save the world but don't have time to save their immediate space because the world has put so much on them that they're trying to do that in the name of trying to help out their kid, but at the same time so much is thrust upon us that we do not ask for, and we are still expected to perform at the optimal level. And if we don't, then for some reason, then if we say anything about it, then we're angry about it. But I don't know any other racial group that is held to that standard and still only to be undermined and degraded and spoken to condescendingly. And there's a real plethora of strengths and strides that we've made that people just don't, like, they're like, yeah, that's standard operating procedure, but yet put that on someone else and it's the end of the world. Oh my goodness, like the fragility of different folks, I'll say that. The fragility of different folks, and they cannot handle what was thrust upon them at all. and you're just
Speak on
like,
it.
but you want me to perform at this level and give and pour out of myself, and I have nothing left to give you. And when I tell you I'm tired, then that's where the lazy part comes in. But no, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know any other group that is held to that standard
I don't either.
on multiple levels.
But I'll just say, if you haven't seen Black Panther, take the time to go see it. It is a beautiful
It
tribute to
is. They
Chadwick
did such a
Boseman, in
good
my
job.
opinion. It just really was. It was just and it made me sad all over
Yeah,
again. And then I've been
I left.
watching
I left kind
interviews.
of like, ugh.
Yes. And I've been watching interviews of Ryan Coogler, and one of the things that he said was, like, when he wrote the story of the second Black Panther, he had wrote it with well, of course, with Chadwick in mind, because he didn't even know he was
Right.
sick. And he said he wrote it, and it was supposed to be how T'Challa dealt with the 5-year blip, because he was gone. So how he mourned the time that he lost, right? So it was supposed to be about that. So he said, prior to the first Black Panther, he was like, Chadwick was in
Right.
it. He was like, he was helping him write it, edit it. He was giving notes. He was doing all that. And he said, so when the second one came around, he was like, I'm going to send it over to you. And he was like, nah, just let the studio read it first, and then I'll give any notes. And he said he thought that was like a little odd, because he was so heavily involved in it in the beginning. And he said he could tell he was tired, but he just wrote it off, and like maybe 2 weeks later he died. And he was like, this man, he realized, was sick.
Yeah.
Since he's met him, since the first Black Panther, he was sick, and he still gave his all.
Yeah.
And it's a testament that we as Black people, we are remarkable, and some of the things that we put ourselves through just to it's just, and to see the impact that his life had on all of the people around him, it was just a beautiful tribute to him. And I felt like it closed out his part of Black Panther. It closed it out in a beautiful way. And to say that, we're gonna close this out. Because we did this off the cuff, so we don't know how this is going to turn out, but we hope that you enjoyed it. We are definitely going on our little holiday break. Keep abreast with what's going to be coming by going to our social medias. We're actually going to do a countdown of our top 10 listened to episodes. So I hope that you are an avid listener to the point where you can guess what the number one was. I think it might be surprising to many of you what our number one episode was. But yeah, anything you want to say, Natalie?
No, just make sure you take care of yourself at the end of the year. Take some time to reflect on everything that has happened this year, good, bad, and indifferent. Thanksgiving is about to come up, so go ahead and listen to that episode we talked about with Thanksgiving and family interactions, and the auntie anthems, because some of y'all will see the aunties at Thanksgiving and what have you. Go back and listen to the self-care one, because we're not out of COVID, but we're still in that space, so making sure you take care of yourself. There's a number of episodes that are relevant to this time of year that I think would help out and just kind of rejuvenate some little giggles and cackles as we enter the holiday season. And take care of yourself and enjoy your surroundings. Go see Black Panther. It was phenomenal. I highly recommend it. And drink some tea while you're doing all of this as well.
Yes. So happy Thanksgiving, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy Christmas, happy all the holidays.
All the holidays. And be safe.
All right. Be safe. We'll see you guys out here.